Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, guys. Thank you and welcome to another Sunday Hangout. We have a very exciting one. We're using this Hangout. Obviously, we'll talk about a lot of things, but the main topic of this Hangout is going to be to preview the USMNT Jamaica World Cup qualifier this Thursday. And to help me do that, I have Tactical Manager, who you all know already, and Alex Reid, a bona fide Jamaican himself and friend of the channel, of both channels. Welcome, Alex. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's an honor to be on your channel today. I really appreciate it. To come share my thoughts with the USA fans. I watch this chat. I watch this live stream almost every Sunday to get information on the USA team. So, it's a pleasure to be on your channel. I'm really. It's an honor. I'm thankful for that. For this.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we're happy to have you, Alex. Filippo, how you doing today? You're watching Inter Miami on the side to watch Breck Shea.
Yeah, guys, we need a scout break, Shay. I'm surprised no one commented on my tan already. I was out in the sun, then I come home and go cheer for the goat himself. But today's not about the goat. Let's go to the topics here.
All right. So let's start off. By the way, hi, everybody. Hello, Frankie, Maximus, Johnny, Efrain, Carter, Wolf Boy, Lads of America, Zach, Rogelio. Good to see you guys all here. Guys, if you haven't liked the stream yet, do that so other people can find us. But Alex, tell me, I want to start off talking about the last window with Jamaica. If you could just sum up very briefly, what happened with them, because we all thought they would have a better window than they did. They ended up getting 1 point out of a possible 9. Is that right? 1 point?
Yes, sir. That's
So
possible.
what was the main issue there? And just walk
So,
us through that.
so the main issue was that most of their players from England were supposed to come, but because England restriction on the red list countries, so they couldn't make some of the trip to Mexico. And so they mainly use like some of the players from USL, in other places like Belgium and Sweden that they could have called up and feature in that. And those players kind of played together already for over a period of time. So they kind of went to that game knowing that we're not favorites, but we're gonna try to actually fight, and they actually did fight, but they never come out on top on top at the top of the end of the game because at the 90th 89th minute, Enrique Martin, he scored a goal, and it's a deal breaker for us. So I think we didn't have a good window, and when they came back to Panama for the Panama game, the coach just chucked in 8 of the UK players that never played together. They don't have any synergy, and I think the tactics that they used was so wrong. Like the coach play a 4-4-2, which Panama was counter pressing them and using a 4-4-1 with a Gijon pressing. So it was a difficult game, and then after the UK players had to leave and go back to UK again, where some of these players that plays in Mexico had to come to Costa Rica, and Costa Rica's kind of not. I don't want to say they're not a good opponent, but they're kind of aging in a sense. So
Yeah.
I think they got lucky in that game and got a draw, and that helps them in a sense of motivating to the next window. But for the window, I wouldn't expect us to, like, if you tell me like 2 weeks before the qualifier I was expecting to get 1 point, I would have said no because all these players are coming in, but some of them do not play already together. So I think the coaching status, like the coach, is one of the biggest reasons why I don't think you know to manage the players properly. These big name players coming in, and it's one of the things that I felt like wrong about the team, and there was like off the field issue with it's like a segregation with the UK and the Jamaican based players. So all of that stuff got to fix in the sense of this window coming up. So hopefully it comes better this window, and hopefully it will be better. Our main issue is we don't have a good CDM, and USA have a very great CDM in Tyler Adams, and actually the Kellen Acosta. I think the guys have a good CDM, and a right back issue. We have a right back issue with Alves Paul. I think he's a very liability to the team. I think that's one of the main issues. So hopefully
Alex,
we get it right.
walk me through the roster for this time round. Is it dramatically different? Because there are some players missing, right? That are key players for Jamaica. Who are those players that are missing, and why?
I think only one key player I think missing is Ravel Morrison. He's the one that missing. I think him and the coach had like some talks, but the coach say he has it in the plan. And I think because I don't know why the coach don't pick him because of that game. It's personal reason. And Gregory Lee, the left back, was supposed to come. He had personal reasons. Another CDM Jordan because it was supposed to come in the team. That personal reading that Kevin Stewart is injured because he's not fully up to fitness with Blackpool. So I think all of those things in consideration. But the roster, it's not a major miss, but it's kind of a little bit unbalanced. We only had one CDM.
Hang on. We have some definitely Leon Bailey is missing, right?
Bailey's
Yeah.
not in the roster.
Yeah,
Bailey's not in the roster.
Bailey's not in the roster. He's
Moore
injured.
can't come to the US, is that right?
No, Moore is in the roster. Moore is coming to
Moore's
the
there.
US.
Okay.
Anthony Grant can come to the
So,
US.
Alex, one
Ravel
question
Morrison.
here. One question, because you mentioned also, I know they're in the roster, but is Ethan Pinnock and Liam Moore, are they fit to play the US?
Yeah. So actually, Ethan Pinnock and Leon Moore. Leon Moore played today against Mikel Antonio, and they won 2-1. And Leon Moore played yesterday, Saturday, which they won 1-0 with Junior Highlight scoring a goal. So yes, they are fit to come play for Jamaica.
Okay.
Okay. So the only real people missing, you're telling me, are going to be Ravel Morrison and Leon Bailey.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Interesting. So talk about the game. How do you think they're going to line up? Do you think it's going to be what's the formation, and how do you think they're going to approach this game? Because they have 1 point. If they don't get some good points this window, they could be out of World Cup qualifying contention by the time this window is over.
So my thing is that the players are very pumped for this game. They come in. They are very hungry, and they come in. I know USA have the better midfield, but and I think the two defense are up to par with USA and Jamaica. I think they have two good defense, but I think the middle of the game is what's gonna come down to the end of the day. And I think Jamaica is gonna pack that middle against USA. They got a good Weston McKinney, Yunus Musa, Sebastian Leggett, and all of those players. They're gonna pack the middle, and they're gonna try beat you guys on the counter break with Jamal Lowe and those fast players and Mikel Antonio that can hold up the ball and bring players into the other play so they can score. I think that's what the main issue, and I think the coach is going to use like a 4-1, 4-5-1 formation with Mikel Antonio as the lone striker up top. So I want to know what they're going to do, how they're going to get the ball to him. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm worrying.
Right. So you're talking about a 4-5-1. You're guessing they're going to sit back. Are they going to sit back and defend in a low block for the majority of this game, or how do you think they're going to approach it?
So I think they're going to approach it like the first 10 minutes. They're going to start pressing. They're going to press the USA. The person, and I heard you guys complain about Matt Turner's not good with the ball at his feet.
Yeah.
So I think they're gonna press him, and they're gonna press John Brooks, and they're gonna see they're gonna play the game through quarters. So they're gonna press the first 10 minutes and back off and let the USA come, and they're gonna see how the USA play after that. I think they're gonna do it in a mid, not a low block, but in a mid block though. So in a sense of if USA can use those channels properly. They play the ball through the channels. So that's what I think is going to happen.
Okay. Filippo, you follow Jamaica pretty closely as well. Do you have any thoughts on their setup for this game?
Yeah, I think what Alex is mentioning is similar to how they played Costa Rica. They played in a 4-2-3-1. Sometimes it's a 4-5-1 almost. But I think that's how they're going to line up. And my question to Alex, if he has any information on this, is will Whitmore play Bobby Reid as the 10, or will he play him wide now that Leon Bailey's out of the team? Leon Bailey won't be there. So we're going to see a because Bobby Reid. So this is what I'm thinking of Jamaica, right? You guys probably have the best center forward in CONCACAF right now in regards to form, at least. Mikel Antonio has, I think, 5 or 6 goals in the Premier League, 3 assists. He's killing it. But there's only so much a center forward can do without service. Essentially, you don't have Ravel Morrison to bring the ball up or build up or do any of the creativity. You don't have Leon Bailey. So you're going to rely on probably Bobby Reid getting that ball there, or maybe Taxi Lawrence on the left. So is he going to put Bobby Reid wide, kind of like what Greg does to Reina, or is he going to put him central?
I think he's going to put him wide and play the kid called Tariq McGee. I don't know if you guys know about that kid.
I saw him, yeah.
He's very,
Where
very
does he play?
He played in his team is in the first. He don't get a lot of game time, but his team is in the first of the Belgian Pro League. He played for Cassiupen. I think he's gonna be the creative one, but defensively, I don't think he offers a good defensively. But I think he can break the line and pass some dangerous pass to give USA trouble. If USA don't close him down and let him have space on the ball and time on the ball, he can cause a lot of trouble for the USA. And that's where I think they're gonna get the ball through to Mikel Antonio. Either him or Daniel Johnson are going to play that number 10 role because Daniel Johnson is more effective. They like to play Daniel Johnson as a number 8, but he's more effective than a number 10.
That kid was in Gold Cup. That kid was in Gold Cup, wasn't he?
Type McGee.
Yeah, he
Yeah, he
played
was
us in
play.
Gold Cup.
Yeah,
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 he played. He was the 10. Yeah, he played against us.
he
Yeah.
played against Costa Rica too in the Gold Cup. I went to that game in Orlando. He played
Yeah,
against
he
Costa
played
Rica.
against the U.S., Pete. He was one of the midfielders they had against the United States in Gold Cup.
Right, I remember.
I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
So okay, so basically, what it seems that we're going to be looking like, and I don't know if you have any more thoughts, is very much we're going to start high press. Like they have to get at least a point from this game because Jamaica has to rescue a very bad window. So although from an American perspective, it's easy for us to say, oh, we should beat Jamaica at home, and we should absolutely. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park like we are hoping, right? Especially because we're missing some of our best attackers, Pulisic and Reina, who are not there, right? So
Definitely.
I expect there's a difference between like expectations of what we should do, but also for us as USA fans, we don't know what Berhalter is going to do, right? Anytime he can do anything and no one has any idea, right? He's very hard to predict in that sense. All of a sudden he decides Kellen Acosta as a center forward. I would not be surprised. You know what I mean? Like very little would surprise me with Berhalter. So I am curious to see how this is going to work out, but I don't think it's going to be. We should thrash Jamaica if you took it talent alone, and the fact that we're playing at home and Jamaica's recent form. But Jamaica has a lot to fight for in this game. They have to start this window well.
So let me say this like USA fans, CONCACAF is a different ball game when it comes down to like team and hungriness, everybody fighting, and they have to understand if USA don't come on the day playing the best ball game and they want to win this, it's gonna be a cause of problem. And these players are very hungry. Let me tell you, I heard these players talk. They want to win this USA game. If they get a win or a draw in this USA, it's a victory for them going back to go play Canada at home. And that's gonna even build more momentum and more confidence in the team going forward. So, as I said, it's not gonna be an easy game. It's not gonna be a walk in park. I think USA have to come really good. I think you guys need to know Greg Barton needs to set up a team properly. But if Jamaica set a team very properly, if the coach Whitmore set this team properly, it's gonna cause a lot of problem for USA team and how they're gonna differ and fix, how they're gonna differ and manage Mikel Antonio if he gets on the ball a lot, and Chema Nicholson. So those are things that I really need to take in context.
Tak, do you have any thoughts on the game from a Jamaica perspective before we talk about the US?
Well, Jamaica perspective, I would be less optimistic in regards to Mr. Whitmore right there, get the tactics right for the game. I wouldn't be very optimistic. He hasn't. When was the last time he got something right? Right? It's not very often. Now, it really comes down to that. Can you guys get the ball to Mikel Antonio in a position where Mikel Antonio can be dangerous? Not a ping pong ball that he has to fight it off with Brooks and Robinson. It has to be. I don't see it working for Jamaica, mostly because of the midfield issues that Jamaica has and not having Leon Bailey, even though you guys have grown accustomed to not having Leon Bailey because it seems like he's never available for Jamaica. That's the bother him. So it's going to come down to that because otherwise, I think the best result Jamaica can get is grind out a draw, like Alex said. I think that's what we should aim for.
Definitely, and I think they're gonna pack the midfield though. It's wondering I'm wondering now if they pack the midfield, how you guys are gonna do against the Channels. And one player I'm looking on the USA side, one player I'm very interested to look at is the Brendan Harrison kid. I think he's gonna cause a lot of problems for Jamaica.
Yeah.
And who you guys gonna start as number 9? You guys are the best midfield. Don't get me wrong, but who's gonna score the goals?
Well, mine's gonna be Zardes. It's gonna be Zardes.
I'll push back on that a little bit. I actually think it might be Zardes, but I think there's a good chance, and I'll explain when I get into the U.S. lineup. I think there's a good chance it will be Pepe. Okay, so let's talk very briefly. What do you think the start? If you have to predict the starting lineup and formation, Alex, and then maybe you can also chime in too, Tak. What do you think it will be for Jamaica?
Tak, you want to go first? Or me?
Yeah, you can correct me then if I'm wrong.
Yeah, go
Let's
ahead.
try it together. So we both agreed it's probably going to be a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-5-1.
Yes.
So the goalkeeper will be Andre Blake. The right back probably Powell. I think Powell will be the right back.
I think the coach is going to play the kid from Vancouver Whitecaps, Javine Brown. I think he's one of the best right backs in the MLS. Don't get me wrong. I think he's one of the best right backs in the MLS right now. He's very solid. I think the coach is going to play him if I'm the coach.
The defenders, is it going to be Damian Lowe and Ethan Pinnock?
Yes, I think so. I think it's
not Liam Moore, huh?
No, I don't
No,
think so. But
he
I
was
think,
terrible against Panama. He was
Yeah, he
terrible against
was.
Panama.
He was bad.
yeah,
I was
So
yeah,
very surprised to see that.
yeah.
And then
So
Taxi Lawrence at left back. Yeah.
yes,
yeah,
very, yeah, yeah.
Speedy in the midfield with is Hector in the roster?
No,
So Speedy with who?
Daniel Johnson, and fun fact. If I was a Whitmore, I would do put Liam Moore in the midfielder because Liam Moore played CDM for his club a couple of times.
Hmm.
I would have chucked Liam Moore in there. That would give him more a lot of defensive solidity. And he can tackle. I think he's gonna tackle. They're gonna have a nightmare for Western get past him. So I'd chuck Liam Moore in there, play him and play Speedy next to him, and put Daniel Johnson in number 10 position.
Yeah.
But
Okay. So
Whitmore
then,
won't do that, right?
No, I don't think he would do that. I think he would play Javon Watson, a 37-year-old CDM.
oh my
So
God.
yes, but what you call it? Anthony Grant, the CDM that we're supposed to get from Swindon Town, he can't travel to the US because of visa issue. So I think Javon Watson is he don't got nothing else to play for. I think he's gonna play his heart, and these players will run their socks off for Tapper and kill for Tapper. So I think he's the one I think Tapper's gonna pick. And
Mhm.
besides Speedy, besides Devin Williams and Daniel Johnson, number 10. I won't say number 10 because I think Daniel Johnson is gonna play his heart out.
I think we lost sound here.
I can't hear him.
I
You
I
can't.
guys
can
hear
hear
me?
him.
You
There we
guys hear?
go. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. I got a call from somebody.
No
So I
problem.
think Daniel Johnson's gonna be in the number 10 position, and then wide left he's gonna put Jamal Lowe, and that player is gonna give you a lot of trouble. That player
Not
do
Bobby
not.
Reed. You don't think Bobby Reed is going
No,
to be
Reed
Bobby
there?
on the
Reed,
right.
right, Reed on
On
the
the
right,
right.
but
Oh, okay.
Jamal
He's from
Lowe.
Swansea, right?
No, he played for Bournemouth. No, he transferred to Bournemouth.
He
So he playing
transferred.
at
He plays for
I got
who?
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth.
Oh,
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I think
Bournemouth or Bournemouth.
I don't know the pronounce probably
Oh, so
AFC.
Bournemouth. Yeah, he was in
Yeah,
Bournemouth.
Swansea.
Yeah.
He was
yeah.
in Swansea last year. I followed him because Jordan Morris was there, Riola was there. He was in
Yeah.
Swansea.
Yeah. I remember that. And
And
then obviously, yeah. Go ahead.
Mikel, I think that player do not lose the ball in the final third. He scored against you guys last year when you guys scored 4-1 against us.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna give you a lot of problem. Who's playing left back for you guys? Anthony Robinson.
Probably
Probably.
Anthony Robinson is good defensively.
Got better. He got
better.
better.
He's improved. I wouldn't
He's
say he's
improved.
locked down yet, but he's better than some of our other blue
Jamal
guys.
Jamal kid is don't lose the ball in the final third, and he's a good player, very skilled, fast. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna see how you're gonna do it, and how Bobby Reed's gonna go up against Des because I know you guys complain about Des not good defensively, and Bobby Reed's a player that like to drive the ball at the players, and they'll put Mikel Antoni up top.
No, other
Yeah.
way, Alex, other way around. Bobby Reed will go against Robinson,
Oh, right.
Yeah.
and
Oh,
Lowe
okay.
will go against Dest.
Oh my
Dest. If
God.
Dest and Robinson start, which I think
Yeah, if
Oh,
they
they
will.
start, if they start.
We have to get 3 points,
Ja-
and so I think we're gonna have a strong team in that opening game. All right, let's talk a little bit about the American lineup here, and I have my thoughts, and you guys can give me yours, especially you, Tack. So there are some, I think, positions that the way we start against Jamaica, I think, are clear. I think Stefan will start. If for no other reason, then he can't go to Panama. So I think Stefan will start against Jamaica, and then against Panama we'll have Turner, and then depending on both of their performances, we'll decide who starts against Costa Rica in the last game. So Stefan against Jamaica. I think the back four is going to be the same as Robinson, Brooks, Robinson, and Dest. So Anthony Robinson and Miles Robinson are the two distinctions there. Do you have any disputes so far, Tack?
No, my only question is the goalkeeper. If he's going to continue with Turner
Yeah.
because it's who he's going, or he's going to say, Stefan, here's your chance. Then Turner, that's your chance. And then now you're my number one, because that's the only thing so far.
Yeah.
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Brooks, I heard you guys complain about Brooks, and I watch him play. That's my personal humble opinion. I think his guys been shaky for you guys for the last three windows, for the last three World Cup qualifier windows, and I don't think he's good 1-on-1. But is he gonna play Miles Robinson to back him up? So if he gets in a lot of trouble.
I mean, he's had Miles Robinson with him. The problem with Brooks is that when the ball is played behind him, so when he gets caught out, he's very slow to retreat and track his man back. And that has been a problem against Canada and has been a problem against Honduras. Now, it's not all on Brooks, in my opinion. Some of it is on the way that we are set up, where Brooks has to step into midfield to win balls. And if he doesn't do that, then we have a problem. But yeah, that's an issue for Brooks, and he's going to need to have a much better camp this time round than he did last time. That's my opinion.
I know Jamaica like play the ball over the top. So how you guys gonna manage the ball over the top?
Well, we win it in
We're going
the
to have
air,
to press
or
very
win
high.
it in the air.
Yeah, win it in the air and press very high to stop the service, right? They're going to hit Antonio. That's what they're going to do, and Antonio's going to hold up the ball. And so I don't know if it's going to be Brooks or Robinson who's charged with marking him. It'll be interesting to see how Greg does that. But let's get back to the lineup here. So Adams at the 6. I think that's very clear for me that Adams will start, and probably McKennie as well. Listening to Greg Berhalter talk in interviews, he seems to have been like, Wes paid his dues by getting sent home. And it's not forgotten, like we pretend it never happened, but, it's over now. We want to move forward. And so I think he will start. The question for me, and I don't have an answer to this, and I want to hear your thoughts, Tack, is the other dual 8 position, because I think we agree he'll play 4-3-3, right?
Most likely, yeah.
Most likely. Of course, with, Berhalter, you never know, and nothing surprises us anymore. If he trotted out a 3-4-2-1, I would not be surprised, but I doubt it. So the other 8, the options are Leggett, Musa, or De La Torre. Or it could even be Acosta. He's played Acosta as an 8 before. So, but I doubt he's going to play Acosta, McKennie, and Adams in the same midfield. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. What do you think?
I actually think it's going to be Acosta for some reason. For some
Maybe
reason,
to
I
deal
think
with the physicality. Like, I don't know. There's no creativity in that midfield then.
Acosta seems to perform well against Jamaica for some reason every time.
But you need a creative player there. He's not a creative player.
Well, neither is Leggett, and he'll probably put Leggett as the other.
Yeah, I think there's a higher chance he'll put Leggett or Acosta over Musa or De La Torre.
Yeah, I can see Musa or De La Torre coming in throughout the game. Maybe even more De La Torre than Yunus Musa. De La Torre even got man at the match today, by the way. He had a good performance for Heracles. So I think he'll start with either. If I have to go with the names you put there, I would say Leggett would be the other one to start.
And that is my question, is if Jamaica is in a low block, sort of the way Canada played us at home, are we going to be able to penetrate that low block if we don't have it, incisive, penetrating, creative midfielders? So who Greg puts in the midfield is going to be really crucial to how this game shakes out. Now, up forward, this is where Greg has talked a lot about we need more verticality. He just keeps saying it, okay? Now, I'm not saying I agree with Greg. I'm just saying because of that, I think he's going to go Aronson, Pepe, and Areola. Now, the reason I say Pepe over Zardes, although Zardes is a Greg favorite, is that in the interview with Thierry Henry on CBS Sports, Thierry Henry said, Greg, why you are not calling Jordan Pifok? And then Greg gave his explanation. He said, in this camp, Pifok is a kind of guy who we think can score in the box, who's going to get on crosses and score with his head. Now, in this camp, we've brought Zardes, who already does that, but we need more verticality. And guys like Pepe and Hoppy offer us more verticality. So because he's been yapping nonstop about verticality, and because he specifically earmarked Pepe and Hoppy as the guys who provide that verticality up top, I think it's going to be Pepe. But I would not be surprised if it was Zardes. What do you think?
I agree with Aronson and Areola. I think that's almost unanimous. And actually, I'll be surprised if Areola and Aronson don't start for this one. Now, I do believe he's going to go with Zardes. I understand your point. Maybe he wants to continue also with a very hot Ricardo Pepi. But I do think Greg has his favorites, and I think the way he sees it right now is Zardes. He was reluctant also to play Pepe on the first 2 games. I think he's personally going to keep Zardes also for the physicality of the Jamaican team. Not that Pepe can't deal with it. I think he can. He dealt with it just fine against Honduras. But I think we're going to start with Zardes. But I'm pretty sure Pepe will come in throughout the game. I don't think he goes with Zardes the whole match, especially depending on how it goes.
And it's bizarre that neither of us think he's going to start Weah, despite Weah having 3 assists in his last 2 games in Ligue 1.
So let me ask you a question. Why wouldn't he start Busio?
Busio, I mean, again, with Greg, you just don't know, right? It's possible he'll start Busio. It's very possible. I don't think so, because one of the things that Busio struggles with is the physicality of the game, especially in CONCACAF. And I don't know if Jamaica is the best opponent to start Busio against. But I could be wrong. Again, if he starts Busio, I would not be surprised.
I can see
Ario,
Busio playing against Costa Rica more. Maybe against Costa Rica, we
Possibly
could
against
see
Costa Rica,
and
yeah.
Ariola over Timothy Weah.
Greg.
I'm
Greg
telling you,
likes Ariola. In fact, in the last window, the whole time he wasn't even talking as much about our players. Every time there was, oh, if only we had more Ariola and Zardes and more verticality, we'd be, much better. He was whining about this in the last window. So I don't know if it has anything to do with the performance. I think he has his guys that he likes. And to his credit, Paul Ariola works very hard, right? No one disputes that. He's a hard worker. When it comes to production in the final third for competitive game for the national teams, his numbers are very, very bad. In 25 competitive caps for the US, he has 2 goals and 3 assists in 25 competitive caps. In his last 12 caps, he has 1 assist. 12 competitive caps, he has 1 assist. So
And
his
Pete, don't
numbers as
forget
an attacking player are not good.
in Gold Cup final, where actually legit actually put him in front of who was it? Was Talavera, I think was the goalkeeper for the
Yeah, it was
final.
Talavera,
And
1v1 against Talavera.
he hits it out of bounds. It's not even
Yeah.
Talavera saves it, he misses it.
Well, he hit the post, to be
he gonna
fair.
go. He gonna go up against a good wing back, Kemar Taxi Lawrence, and Kemar Taxi Lawrence play against him multiple time in the MLS. So we want
Yeah.
to see how that's gonna work. Cause Kemar Lawrence is a hard worker too, and a hard tackler. He bites very hard. So I want
Yeah.
to see how Par Areola is gonna go up against that physicality
Yeah.
and legit. If you guys gonna play legit in the middle of the park, right?
Yeah.
There's no
Maybe.
crit. I heard you guys cry about the back passes from legit. You don't make a lot of forward passes. That's gonna cause a problem because you guys need to penetrate the Jamaica midfield and the defense in case if you guys want to win this game.
Yeah,
But
I would like to see De La Torre there. Honestly, I think De La Torre is the kind of player who can be incisive and penetrative. But we'll see.
is
It's
Delicate
possible De La Torre will start. I think
is
will be more dangerous if De La Torre starts. But also, De La Torre has 3 caps in friendlies. We've never seen him in a competitive game in CONCACAF yet. So, does his form translate to CONCACAF? It's sort of a wait and see. But guys, we do have to close this segment. So let's just real quickly, if we could start with Alex.
Mhm.
And then Filippo, everybody give your scoreline predictions for this game.
Felipe,
Alex,
you
you
wanna
start.
go? Felipe, wanna go first?
No, go ahead.
Alex, go ahead.
Okay, so my prediction before I leave, my prediction is Jamaica either win 1-0 or draw the game 1-1. That's my prediction. I think Jamaica gonna have something to fight for, and USA it's gonna be a scrappy one. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a very scrappy one, and I think the USA fans it's gonna be up to a surprise. The Jamaican team's coming to fight. They're gonna come to fight with everything, and they know they had something to play for. Is
Okay.
is Greg Berhalter is Greg Berhalter and USA players really up to the test?
I guess we'll find out.
And if Greg
Filippo, what
Berhalter
are your thoughts?
and the Greg Berhalter lose this game, would he lose his? If he lose this game, would he lose his job?
No, they'll give him 2 more games. He has to finish the window before any of that happens.
Okay.
Filippo.
Look, I think Jamaica has a lot of issues they have to deal with before they can make a bold claim that they can beat the United States in the United States, right? We're talking about a team that has debatably the worst coach in CONCACAF, or maybe not even debatably, probably the worst coach of the final 8 right now. He's probably the most limited coach because he has a decent team. Jamaica is missing a player like Leon Bailey. They're missing Ravel Morrison. There's and I think there's too much going on against them outside of the field, right? You know the problems with the federation, with the players. They don't pay them. Uh, I, I don't see Jamaica winning this one. Could you guys grind out a draw? Possibly. I'm going to say the win will be. I don't want to give the exact score. I'll say the United States will win by a 1-goal differential. Could be 1-0, 2-1. It'll be a tight game, but I don't see us not winning. Worst case scenario, they grind the draw, but I'll be surprised.
So I'm
CB,
going to say 2-1. I'm going to say 2-1 to the US. I do think it'll be a tough game. And again, a lot depends on who we play, okay? I'm a lot more optimistic if we have Weah and Pepe and De La Torre or Musa up there. I'm way more optimistic in that sense. So we'll see. But based on how we've performed so far, I say we get the win, but it's a tough struggle, and it becomes 2-1. Alex, any last thoughts before we let you go?
last thoughts is that I know the federation is have a lot of problems going on, and the players got off the field issues. But the coach did a press conference, and the coach said there's no room for error, and there's no room for error at all. And he's gonna get this right. I think he has to get this right, because I know if he don't get this right, he probably lose his job. So he's under pressure right now from the fans and from the federation. So
But
that,
but
that
Alex,
and
he's been around. He's been around forever. He's done a terrible
so,
job. He
so,
never gets fired.
so let me explain why you don't get fired.
All right, very quickly, very
The
quickly.
federation do not have $100 million budget like the USA has $100 million budget.
We
Can go
should
out and
not
get it.
have that budget.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Your federation got a lot of money, a lot of budget. We don't have a lot of budget.
Right.
So the excuse is that we can't go out and get another coach because we don't have the money to pay another coach, and he's locally and he been around the team for a long time. So that's why they give him the job. But
Yeah.
what I heard is, if he don't get no point from these 3 games and he loses one of these games, he's gonna get go. So he's definitely gonna get go. So that's the problem. Filippo, it's good to have done the show. And Pete, it's a wonderful pleasure. Hopefully he can come back again. The first game, if Jamaica wins, Filippo. It go. I ain't no fake news, Jamaican. I'm being real. No fake news at all.
You just gave fake news.
All right,
Anyway,
Alex,
I
thanks for
know.
coming on, man.
Thank
It was
you,
awesome
thank
to
you.
have you. Have a great rest of your day, okay?
You too.
All right, so guys, Jay Brew, open to Q&A now. Tack will be here for another 15 minutes. And then, guys, don't forget, after this, we're going to go do the El Trafico watch-along on Filippo's channel. So let's talk about this from Jay Brew. So you think Weston walks right back into the team? I feel like Triple G would want him to earn it. Also, his form hasn't been great for club. I agree with all of those things. But based on the fact that we need to get the win, I think that Weston starts, because I also think that from Greg's perspective, if he doesn't start Weston, all the questions in the post-game press conference are going to be, why didn't you start Weston? Why didn't you start Weston? And Greg doesn't want to answer those questions. And I think Greg is the kind of guy to believe in a player and not punish them for their mistakes forever and say it's a fresh slate, go out there and prove it on the field. Tack, what do you think?
Yeah, but remember, when the press asks Greg why he didn't start Weston, it'll be in a nicer way, right? It'll be,
For
Greg,
sure.
thank you very much for having me here.
For
So
sure.
were you still sending a message to the team in regards to Weston and his poor attitudes last camp? And that's it. And then he'll just say whatever. But Greg already said also that what happened with Weston's in the past, he said already, I don't think it'll affect his decision. And Weston McKennie's a lock-in starter. And he'll probably start all 3 games as long as he's healthy.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how that one takes off. But yeah, thanks. That's a good question, Brew, and it's definitely something to think about. Keep the Q&As coming, guys. Your thoughts. I wanted to talk real quick about Owen Otasawi. Some people asked if we could discuss him. Owen Otasawi has had attitude problems for a long time. Even when he was at Wolves, he does some modeling on the side. I've heard that there were some issues with him in USMNT camp last November when he came in for those friendlies. And now at Bruges, he's having a lot of similar problems. From what I've understood today is that Otasawi was playing for Bruges reserves and was pulled off after 30 minutes. So that's pretty damning. Look, talented young players, that's great. If your attitude is not good, if you're not willing to grind and work hard and take instruction, you're never going to become anything. And we've seen that with so many young players in the past. So until he changes or fixes his attitude, I don't think he's really a prospect we should be worried about. What are your thoughts, Tax?
Well, exactly the same, right? We don't give up on him because players can mature. He's 20 only, I believe. So who knows? 2 years from now, he's talented, athletic. Combine those two, it can become something. But until he gets his stuff together, he can't be on the pole, and Greg shouldn't call him until he needs to start getting first team minutes and stop having attitude problems. Until then, let's forget about him for now.
Yeah. So that's pretty much Owen Otasawi, guys. Young player. Let's hope for the best for him. But right now, he's not demonstrated enough that he deserves to be, anywhere near the national team. So, all right. Any other thoughts about the game on Thursday? I mean, I think for me, it's like I don't know how Greg is going to manage it. And from what we saw last time, we have very little confidence in him to manage it well. But let's also reiterate, this is our easiest camp. okay, probably in the entire window. If we look at the entire qualifying campaign, this is our easiest window. We have two bad teams at home and Panama away, which is with Panama, you said something to me on the phone the other day, Filippo, about we don't know if Panama is actually good or if they just had a good window, and this window will tell us a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely our easiest camp because it's what Alex said. Costa Rica tied Jamaica with Jamaica without having the European-based players, and Costa Rica is just they aged. The team's just not good anymore. So we should be Costa Rica at home. Jamaica, some of the points that Alex didn't mention, I didn't even want to extend on it, is there were issues with the federation paying certain players. So some of the players in England, they paid some of the guys. It's just very messy in
They
Jamaica.
buy
It's
their own
not
tickets to go to Jamaica. A lot of them fly their own way over there. It's crazy right now.
Yeah, there's a lot more going on there than just a poor coach and bad tactics. There's more outside that affects the team as a whole. So Jamaica is not a team we should expect more. In Panama, we don't know. We'll see. We'll find out if Panama's that good now.
But even so, like people, Panama away, I think the minimum should be 1 point. Minimum. You cannot lose. There's no excuse to lose any game except maybe Mexico away. There's no excuse, right, in CONCACAF. Yes, we all know CONCACAF is hard. World Cup qualifying everywhere is hard, guys. Go watch South American World Cup qualifying. It makes CONCACAF look like a joke, honestly. African qualifying is crazier than CONCACAF. You think CONCACAF is crazy, it's nuts. Even Europe. Europe has so much quality that it is very tough for a lot of these teams too. That's why last World Cup, you didn't see Holland or Italy or, some big teams there. So it's not like CONCACAF is the only country in the world that has difficult. Qualifying for the World Cup is difficult, however you put it, anywhere in the world. That's not an excuse. We should be able to beat Panama away. If we beat Honduras 4-1, we can beat Panama, all right? But at the very minimum, you cannot get less than a draw, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
I think anything less than 7 points in this window is a failure. That's my thoughts, honestly. We have to get 7, the most, or the least, and then obviously, ideally 9, right? But more important than just the points is also performance. I want us to perform well. I want to see, because we haven't seen a cohesive style yet. We haven't seen chemistry. We haven't seen a real tactical identity, and that's important that I want to see in this camp.
Well, and Pete, to add what you're saying is I personally see it, and you do as well. I've heard it before. Is that qualifying to the World Cup is the bare minimum? It's not really a big. So if qualifying is the bare minimum, we also have to have some World Cup expectations. And after the World Cup qualifying is done, we don't have much time to build a system or anything. So we want to see this system that Greg is building moving up, getting better. We're playing better so that we have some good expectations for the World Cup in Qatar. We don't want to go to the World Cup and get destroyed in 3 games and lose in the group stage, in my opinion.
No, we need to see progress, and we haven't seen progress. So let's get this question here. I was surprised from TS. I was surprised to see Busio not contend for the advanced 8 role. Greg has talked a lot about his level of play. How do you think we will use him? I am very curious. Tack, what do you think?
So Greg during Gold Cup did move Busio to an 8, remember?
Yeah,
he tried as a 6. So maybe as an 8. And he's been playing for Venezia mostly as an 8. Yeah. Sometimes as a 6, playing as a regista, but mostly. So I think Busio right now is an 8 right now.
Yeah. I think if we're going to use him, it'll probably be as an 8. At best, if we play a 4-2-3-1, having him sit next to Tyler in the build-out. But I don't think that's going to happen. We've never used a 4-2-3-1 under Greg. The reason I don't want to see Busio as a 6 is because I still think in CONCACAF, he struggles with the physicality of the game. And for the 6, that's a crucial part of the game, right? Is being able to protect that back line. So I don't think we'll see him as a 6. I think Filippo's right. We'll probably see him as an 8. That would be my guess as well.
His tracking also hasn't been good in the Serie A right now. So any counterattack, I don't think Busio does a good job tracking back. Not terrible. That's not what I'm saying, but not the best at it. And as a 6, you have those defensive responsibilities that you can't miss. And Tyler does a great job with it. And honestly, Acosta, when it comes to defensive duties, he doesn't do a bad job either. So I don't think Busio will be the 6.
Acosta is Adams' backup. So if we need to rest Adams. And by the way, I think Adams should start all 3 games, and then you sub him off if, like let's say we're 2-0 up in the 60th minute at home. You can sub him off for Acosta, and I think Acosta can manage a 30 minutes You know what I mean? So you could have him play not full 90 minutes. Remember, in the last camp, he played 90, 90, 90, but you don't want to risk that with Tyler, right? You don't want to risk an injury. You don't want to risk. So I understand starting him, but I wouldn't have him play 270 minutes in a week. That's very dangerous. Dirk S. Does Jamaica come out and go for goal, or are they going to bunker? So, Dirk, according to Alex, and remember, this is Alex's opinion, just like this is our opinions, right? He thinks they're going to come out very strong and try to press us high and catch us out early, and then go back to a bunker or at least to a mid block. Tack, do you agree based on what you've seen?
It's it's funny because it's based on both coaches, right? Greg, we don't know what Greg will do. We don't know what Whitmore will do, but I don't think Jamaica will press us. I think the odds are they're gonna bunker a little more and counter. That's what I think we're gonna get from Jamaica.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll have small stints of pressing, 10 minutes, like maybe that, but I don't think so. Remember against Mexico, they didn't do that.
No, they didn't. But they did almost get a result in Mexico. Let's not pretend. It was 1-1 up until the 93rd minute. So honestly, to go to Mexico and get a draw without a lot of their best players was pretty good, to be honest. That performance was not terrible. So you never know what they're going to do. I think they are probably going to bunker and probably try to stifle us in midfield. What a lot of teams do is they understand that Greg wants to play through the six. So what do? When the center backs have the ball, they go and sit on Tyler Adams and make it very hard for us to build through that midfield. And I have not yet seen Greg figure out a solution to that. And that's a coach's job. If you want your team to play this way, and the opponent has figured out how you're playing, and they figured out how to stop it, then how do you then react to that? We haven't seen Greg do that yet. He had some comments in the Bobby Warshaw podcast where he talked about what to do. But for me, those comments were a little bit asinine, because he basically put it on the players and said they had to do better. And I don't know if that's really a solution, Greg, if your system isn't working. So,
well, you also don't want to say it, right? If you're a coach, you don't want to say that also.
Say what? Say your solution?
On the players. No, blame the players.
No, you never want to blame the players. You never want to blame the players, for sure. And Greg usually doesn't. To his credit, he usually doesn't blame the players. But anybody who listened to that interview, and by the way, on Patreon, I broke it down tactically with the whiteboard. There was a lot of Greg being like, we didn't do this, we didn't do that. But it kind of sounded like, well, whose job was it for us to do that? Because if none of the players did their jobs, well, who's that on, Greg? And he never really took responsibility for it.
No, and also if your player's not doing what he wants, he subs them off and puts the next guy to do that role. And if no one that he brought can do that role, maybe he selected the wrong players.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Someone has to be able to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, there's so we've talked about Greg's tactics, until we're blue in the face. So any other questions, guys? We could talk a little bit about some of the performances this weekend. Maybe go back and forth. I know you have to get going soon here, Tack. But real quick, let me know some of the guys that impressed you this weekend. Obviously, I'm going to start with Tim Weah, another assist. That's 3 assists in his last 2 games. I hope he gets the start. We'll see what Greg does. Was there anybody else who impressed you?
It didn't impress me, but Brendan Harrison continued the good form, got an assist, played 90 minutes again. So not that he impressed me. He's been doing this every week almost, but just the fact that he's doing it for an extended period of time right now. Brendan.
Yeah.
One more player that impressed me. Let me think here. Busio got a goal, but his performance was okay-ish. It wasn't like the goal doesn't change the fact of what he did throughout the 90 minutes, but he got a goal, Serie A goal. That's good for his confidence.
Yeah.
Des wasn't good. I'm trying to think here of anyone else that I watched this weekend. Nope.
I thought Joe Scally was very good. I know he's not in the roster, but it wasn't just his performance was very strong as well. And anybody saying he shouldn't be in the roster, blah, 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 because he's not going to make us, much better. He could have absolutely been in the roster ahead of a guy like Shaquille Moore, or in addition to a guy like Shaquille Moore. We still have a small roster. So it wasn't just the goal.
Before I go, let me add to that, because this is the worst argument that I hear on Twitter and everywhere. So sometimes we pick on specific players. So Joe Scally instead of Shaq Moore. And then the argument they come back at us is, oh, you're nitpicking, right? Shaq Moore might not even play. Joe Scally would come in and not play. It's better for him to stay.
Yeah.
But guys, it is all about nitpicking. right? After you leave Pulisic, Reina, the main starters, any player
Yeah.
can play as well. Who knows? We might need Shaq Moore to play. Last camp, Des got injured. DeAndre Yedlin was terrible against Canada, and we had to play someone. Shaq Moore has played roughly 50 to 60 minutes at La Liga 2 all season, and it's
Yeah.
been like 7 or 8 games.
Where
I'm
Scally
sorry.
has started 7 games in a row and been one of their best players.
And scored, and so I'm sorry, it doesn't make much sense to me. And in any soccer nation would never ever understand that.
No,
That's how I
no.
put it. But Pete,
And it's we need depth, and it's not just depth. We also need to build cohesiveness, because if you think that Joe Scally is good enough to maybe go to Qatar, then you need to start bringing him in now to get him building chemistry with the other players, getting him into Greg's system, right? Having him build cohesiveness, chemistry, camaraderie with the roster. So it's not just for depth, although of course depth is a huge part of it. But I 100% think Scally should have been in this roster.
Pete, I'm gonna go get ready
Okay.
for the Il Trafico stream, guys. See you guys soon. Make sure to hit the like button if you guys haven't already, because it should have been 200 likes by now. Pete,
and don't
I'll see you
forget, guys,
soon.
I'll be on the El Trafico stream with Tack, so I'll head there afterwards.
See ya.
All right, see you, Tack. All right, Kyle Hagen, 11 Yanks. If we get 5 to 6 points, do we fire Greg? No. The only way we fire Greg is if the World Cup is really, really, really in jeopardy. Now, 5 to 6 points, not good enough in this roster. I mean, not good enough, but they're not going to fire him. In fact, they are absolutely not going to fire Greg unless it looks like we might miss the World Cup. And 5 to 6 points, remember, if you qualify in third, you'll make the World Cup. So if you get another 6 points on top of 7, you'll be 13. You're still probably okay to qualify. Look, guys, we're going to qualify for the World Cup. We have more than enough talent to do it. It's how we're doing it that so far has been disappointing, and we'll see how it goes in this window. Eric Fuentes, yo, what other positions can you see Sargent play? I mean, really just winger and forward. I mean, I don't even think he is a winger. I know they're playing him there right now over in Norwich. I don't really think that's his game. I think he's, technical enough that he can play different positions. But the real issue with Sargent, Eric, is not so much the position that he's in. It's what's going on up here. He doesn't have the confidence to play right now. And he's going to have to fix that. It's a mental issue for him. Until he's a talented player. I know he is. We've seen it. I know what he can do. I know his ability. But unfortunately, you can have all the talent in the world. If you don't have confidence in yourself, you're not going to be able to execute. And he hasn't executed, especially for his country. So I think he can play winger. He can play center forward. But I don't think his position is really the issue right now. It's a mental issue. And I feel like I've said this a couple of times now. Dave Valensky, are you doing LA game, Filippo? And what is our chances of winning all 3 games without Reina and Pulisic? So, Dave, yes, he is doing the LA Galaxy game. I will be there as well, just to hang out. And El Trafico is a cool MLS game, so I will be there. As far as the question, what are our chances of winning all 3 games without Reina and Pulisic? Honestly, we have enough talent, Dave, to win all 3 games. Like, missing Pulisic and Reina might have been a bigger deal 2 or 3 years ago, but now we have a lot of depth, right? Especially at the wings. Tim Weah, Brendan Aronson, Conrad Del Fuente, who's not on this roster, but even Paul Arriola, from a production standpoint, not great. But if you're trying to protect a lead, let's say you're 1-0 or 2-0 up and you're trying to protect a lead, Paul Arriola is a guy who can come on, who can work hard, who's going to be good defensively. That's one thing. Matthew Hoppe can also play on the wing. Now, to be clear, Dave, I think we're short on wingers. I think Hoppe is a forward, and I think we only have 2 real quality wingers in this camp. That is Weah and Aronson, right? If something happens to one of them, then we may have a problem. Now, Hoppe can play there, but I don't think it's his ideal position. But overall, even with the roster that we have available, with these guys that Greg has selected, I don't think anything. We should absolutely be able to win all 3 games. Now, in a 90 minutes, especially away, something can happen. Maybe you get a draw. Not ideal, right? But we certainly can win all 3 games. The idea that we can't is just not true. Not true. All right. Rev de Beau. Why was Greg selected over Peter Vermees? Peter would have been heads better than Greg. I think we all know why Greg was selected, and there's no secret, right? I mean, his brother was the number 2 in charge of the federation at the time. And they didn't even really do a proper search. I think they talked to Oscar Pareja and then, gave it to Greg. So we all know why Greg was selected. I think there are a lot of MLS coaches that should have at least been interviewed. Certainly Peter Vermees, one of them. Greg Vanney, another one. Caleb Porter, maybe. Oscar Pareja, obviously, So though there are 4 or 5 guys, but, we had, who was the Sevilla coach? Who, before he got the Sevilla job, he coached Real Madrid and he coached Spain. I always forget his name, but he asked for an interview and was denied one, right? We never even approached Tata Martino. So I think we all know why he was selected, and it had very little to do with his, track record as a coach. Okay, Tamale Killer, you're 20, you're 23, and GGG's 23 for the World Cup next year. Oh boy, Tamale, that's a big, big question. Let me say this, after the international window, Lopetegui, thank you, R. Lubin. After the international window, Tamale, Filippo and I are going to do one of those roster videos where we predict for the World Cup who we think is going to be there. So if I have to answer this question right now, I don't have it all worked out on paper and who I think. That's a lot more of a big research question. But I don't think the roster is too different now than what we'll see in Qatar. I'll just say that for now. All right. Kevin Polite says, who is our leading scorer in this qualifying window? Pepe, Hoppy, Aronson? Ooh, good question. I'm going to guess Hoppy. I think that Hoppy will play a lot of games, either as a winger or as a forward. I hope at least, and I think he will show out. I really do. We'll see. But we'll see. I think Pepe's a good shout. I think Aronson's a good shout. Definitely. Even Weah. Weah could be a good shout as well. So let's see. All right. Kevin Polite. In Mallorca. All right, this is from Chuck. In Mallorca, the minutes he's played, he has looked good. He even scored a goal that was ruled offside. Yeah, he had a very strong performance against Real Madrid. And he hasn't seen minutes since then. He was very good with his hold-up play. He got an assist, although, it was mostly the other player that did the work, but the layoff was excellent. He should have won a penalty. He was head barged in the penalty box. He wasn't perfect. Of course, he had some moments where he could have done better, but I thought he had a strong enough performance to at least get some sub minutes in the subsequent games. So he's going to have to keep fighting, though, But like I said before, what I like about Hoppy is that he, is CONCACAF ready. He has the fight in him to come to CONCACAF and not be scared, not be overawed by the occasion. He's ready for a scrap. He's ready for a brawl, and that goes a long way in CONCACAF. Dirk. Okay, do you think the U.S. limited roster of 27 versus 30 is due to USSF not wanting to spend the extra money? Herc Gomez said they get $15,000 apiece. It's hard for me to comment because I don't know, right? I'm not in the USSF. I don't know what their reasoning is. It could be that. It could be, it could be just Greg not wanting to leave 8 guys off or 7 guys off the roster, the game day roster. Maybe Greg doesn't like giving bad news. I don't know. Maybe Greg thinks he has enough players right now, so he doesn't need more than 27. But it's hard for me to comment because I don't really know what USSF or Greg is thinking. And what they say in press conferences, a lot of times, guys, it's not what's the truth, right? They're not going to tell you always what they're thinking. They're going to give you a platitude, as we've seen before. Lots and lots of platitudes. So, yeah. Okay. Jose Lopez. Are people too hard on Dest? Do people forget 20? I don't know which people you're talking about. I think generally people give Dest the benefit of the doubt, understandably, because he's a talented kid. I think that defensively, he has a lot of work to do, right? He's still inconsistent defensively. Sometimes good, sometimes not. Even in the attack, he's still inconsistent. And yes, he's 20, but, you're playing for Barcelona. There is no reason why you can't put in strong performances for the U.S., right? Playing at that level that he's at and for the talent that he has. I would say so far, Dest has underachieved for the U.S., right? He has underachieved. So I don't think people are being too hard on him, but I think they're demanding more and wanting more from Dest, which we should be doing with, especially with our top players, right? If you are a top player in the world playing at an elite level consistently, then we should demand that same level of play from you, or better, playing here in CONCACAF. So I don't think people are too hard on him. That's my opinion. Okay. Let's see. Somebody had I just want to. Walter de Epic. Luca de la Torre was man of the match yesterday. So I just want us to keep that in mind. Man of the match in the Eredivisie. So there are some people saying, oh, he doesn't play even well in Holland. Not true. He consistently plays well for them. Okay. Minus, moments here and there where you think he can do better. But to win man of the match in their win was excellent from him. And I really hope we see him in this camp getting consistent minutes, earning Greg's trust, right? Okay, Matt Maratta. And this is a very interesting point, Matt. I like that you brought this up. Even if we get 9 points, that doesn't prove Greg right with these roster choices. Yes, that is correct. When we ask for certain players or certain rosters, the idea behind that is that we want to maximize the potential of our player pool for both now and for the future. It's the same way that, like, if Paul Arriola or Sebastian Lletget scores a tap-in, right? And then everybody goes crazy on Twitter. See, he was right to bring them in. Okay. Nobody is saying that some of these guys that we disagree with being in the roster can never do anything good, right? I think I said this in the midweek video. Of course, there are moments where they can, for example, Lletget had a good second half against Honduras. Great. But does he have that second half consistently enough over his last 20 caps to justify the amount of minutes that he's gotten? No. Christian Roldan, for example. Everyone's like, oh, how can you not say Roldan shouldn't be here? He's scoring goals for Seattle. Yeah. And in 28 caps for the U.S., he has 0 goals and 1 assist. Okay? Even if Roldan scores a beautiful goal against Jamaica, that's still just 1 goal in 29 caps. So it's like, what we want is players who we know are going to be consistently worthy of the minutes that they've gotten compared to other players in the pool, right? And so that is what we are asking for. And just because Lletget had a good second half against Honduras, I don't think he should start for us. I'm fine if you have him on the bench. Maybe you want to bring him on when we're in a lead to try and keep possession, because that's one thing he can do well, right? Connect passes, not give the ball away too cheaply without ever really being incisive. And I understand that can be a good role for him. Should he start? In my opinion, no. Not with Luca de la Torre there. Not with Yunus Musa there. Not with Gio Reyna being a guy who can come back and play in the center. So not with Julian Green, who I think is a better attacking midfielder than Sebastian Lletget. So yeah, the point of just because, in one window, we get the points required or somebody does something well, it doesn't mean that we were all wrong and everybody who disagreed was right. Okay. What I like to see from both, results and performance and also from individual players is consistency over time. Right? What we have not seen with Greg is consistency of performance from this team when it comes to, performance, right? We've got some good results in the summer with Nations League and with Gold Cup, and that's great. And certainly I hope we get the results. But when it comes to performance, the one thing that's been consistent is very subpar performances. We don't create chances from open play. We don't have a strong tactical identity. We're vulnerable to the counterattack. Those are my big 3 complaints. Guys, El Trafico is starting. I know a ton of you want to go watch. I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be with Filippo on his stream. Come and hang out with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for coming and hanging out today. Thanks to everybody who donated with your super chats. It's very much appreciated. For all the time that we put in, we really do appreciate anything you guys can do to help. Let's go watch El Trafico. It's a fun game. We're going to get to watch Lletget, Julian Araujo, other American players, young Americans. You guys, thanks for coming. I will talk to you all on Thursday. Thursday. I'll see you guys at the game. Obviously, I'll see you there Thursday. Have a great one, guys.